Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Season 1, Episode 3, The Power Broker, and that is the guy that the false flag people are scared of. I'm kind of at the moment guessing that that's who gave them the, well, they stole, I guess, the serum from, the super soldier serum, and maybe that's who Bucky and Sam are going to learn more about when they visit Zemo. Oh my god, is that his name? My brain, I'm sorry. I'm so excited for this episode. This show has been fantastic. The Disney Plus Marvel shows are doing such a good job. They have such the feel of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yet you also see kind of the street level stuff, what it's like in reality beyond the superhero films, and I'm excited. You can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of my reactions on my Patreon, and let's go. Is this the place they were hiding? Yeah, that's not Captain America behaviour, mate. I get that he is under a lot of pressure and not being supported, but that is... he speaks English too. That is not Captain America behaviour. And also, why would he care? Because you're not the Captain America who actually inspired respect. No, don't try and use them. Oh. Everyone's in Germany today. Do you, sweetheart? I love you and I trust you, so I'll go with this plan. But I'm stressed. And Sam is stressed too. What a prick. Bucky.
Look, let me just walk you through a hypothetical. Can I walk you through a hypothetical?
Yes.
I didn't do any...
Oh god.
What's the book you're reading?
Oh god. Bucky, has he already broken him out or given him the tools to break out?
Then the protocol says 4 guards have to respond.
So why would 2 prisoners randomly start fighting at that moment?
Who knows? There could be many reasons.
Bucky! I mean, I agree with his logic here because he super soldiers and everything, he will want to stop it, but this is such a risky plan and he did not consult Sam.
I don't like how casual you're being about this. It's unnatural. And where are we, man?
Oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, what are you doing here?
I didn't want to tell you because I knew you wouldn't
like it.
What did you do?
We need him, Sam.
You're going back to prison. If I may. No!
They're having a moment. Oh my god, I did not think this was going to happen.
Where do we start?
I hate this so much, but I love it. I don't trust this because they're in his world with his people, and he's not going to make you go back to prison afterwards. Oh, he stole that from Bucky. Oh, Sam knows about it now. How dare you invade his privacy any further? Fuck off.
You will have to become someone you claim is gone.
No. So are these people that were taken out of their homes when the homes were given to the people that came back? Like, if they'd moved into the home that someone used to live in? Because I don't know if that's exactly what would happen. I don't agree with any of the Flag Smashers' sort of methods. They seem, I don't know. But I can understand the hurt that they're feeling.
Let me guess. We don't have any friends in Hightown.
Of course not. Oh, I hate this. It's so awesome. Like, I'm stressed. Are you stressed? I'm stressed. Power Broker is watching. Who is the Power Broker?
Usual.
Okay. Are you sure this isn't some kind of trap? Oh, Bucky. I mean, these aren't good people, but It's what he's doing to survive. Oh god.
You good?
I need both to be good. Why are we in slow motion?
On speaker.
Oh Christ.
You know a situation is the only situation me and you have.
What situation, Sarah? Say it.
The damn boat. And watch your tone, okay?
I'll let you slide at the bank.
The bank, yeah. Laundered so much money. They'll come around.
Oh my god.
Case, then why they done?
Sam, I'm sorry. Let me call you.
Oh.
Sam.
I'm guessing the power broker does not appreciate his people underlings talking. Oh Christ.
It's not good. Guardian angel.
It has to be Sharon.
Perfect.
Because it's been too long, she hasn't been in it yet. Yes! Oh.
Drop it, Zemo. Like you, I don't have the Avengers to back me up, so I'm off the grid in Madripoor.
Hey, don't blow that smoke at me.
They really should have put her on the list of pardons.
I don't speak to my family anymore.
After the blip and the chaos, I just...
Look, you know the whole hero thing is a joke, right?
Oh, Sharon.
You gave up that shield deep down. You must know it's all hypocrisy.
I can understand why she's jaded.
You haggling with my life?
Not like that.
I don't buy that.
You should offer to do that anyway.
Hear my name.
They cleared the bionic staring machine. And they killed almost
Oh
everybody.
my god.
I heard that.
I don't trust charity.
I'm stressed. Plans never go smoothly. The new Captain America is going to want to get his hands on this stuff. And they're following Sam on that a lot, so when are they going to come in and ruin everything? Oh god. Are these power broker men or people looking for the bounty? Oh Sharon, I do love you. I hope that they manage to come through for you.
Had blood samples from an American test subject with semi-stable traces of
Yeah.
in his system. The power broker was more than happy to fund the recreation of
Zemo is going to kill him. Maybe grabbing his gun would have been the best bet.
We're out of time here.
I told you that was gonna happen. It's not what they're here for. Oh, fuck.
I thought we were gonna go left. You went the wrong way. I cleared the way. I came out first. You're supposed to follow me. Where are we now?
That's not the time.
You did this. In every action movie.
Oh god, is he gonna save them? Oh Christ. Good.
Just get me that part and you promise me.
Thanks for everything.
I don't blame her. She can't risk it now.
See that, are you?
Oh.
Big problem. Actually, a couple of them. I'll tell you later. Let's go.
Is she the power broker? I could see maybe she's being the power broker because she's so skilled.
Then, when everybody returned, and we got put out on the street, I knew that it was the only place that had something that I could use to protect us.
It's funny because in Far From Home, they say it as though May is raising money for a charity to help people that were blipped and came back to find they no longer had a home, find a home, rather than a charity to help people that had a home, came back, and then, oh my god, the original owners have come back now, I'm kicked out. Like, I mean, it would be a very hard line to cross, especially when, like, both of you have bought it, both of you own it. Like, it would just be hell on earth. But would they really have just shoved people on the streets into camps? I mean, I guess they have. Is it, like, different in different places? And, like, is it worse in Europe? I mean, with the Tory government, the rich will get whatever the fuck they want, so I can understand why she might be screwed over. But I'm intrigued.
You seriously think Sam and Bucky would have broken a guy like Zemo out of prison?
That's exactly what I think. They were just as desperate for leads as we were.
You know,
They were referring to the American test subject like Isaiah wasn't even a real person.
Yeah.
Just makes me wonder how many people have to get steamed.
Don't let him know about Isaiah, he'll go after him.
This hunk of metal. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have put it in a museum. Maybe I should have
No.
That shield represents a lot of things to a lot of people, including me.
Hey, Diego, let it second that.
See, I agree with and understand the flag smashers' pain and their motivation in helping the people that have been screwed over by what happened. But the people that came back don't deserve to be screwed over either.
No.
Are there explosives in the car?
Put your seatbelt on. Now.
Killing all those people is not correct.
There were still people in there.
This is the only language these people understand.
So this is wrong. Your motivation is right, but acting like this, killing people, just invalidates anyone actively campaigning to try and make a difference. Bucky?
I was wondering when you were going to show up.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Was not expecting that. That was another fantastic episode. Just the moral dilemma of working with Zemo or not. And yeah, you can see why they need him. He's the only person that has information. He clearly has a hell of a lot of assets we did not know about. I get why Bucky didn't tell Sam. I kind of would like for them to reach a point where they can just tell each other everything, but at the same time, Sam would never have agreed to it. Bucky is the person that was most personally affected by Zemo in that sense, so if he can stomach the concept of working with him, I think kind of Sam would have come on board with it in the end, but it's a big deal. You know, as much as right now he is happily working with them to destroy all the super soldiers and save the day, once the last super soldier is, in his mind, dead or, you know, out of commission, Zemo, is he just going to put his hands up and go to prison because he's done bad things and he respects that he deserves prison? Or is he going to go on the run? That is what I'm stressed about. I'm scared that maybe he will remain on the run. And they will kind of be blamed for letting him out or something. I'm also kind of scared given that we know Walker and... is it Gibson? Oh, his friend. I can't remember what his name is. They know that it's very likely it was Bucky and Sam that broke him out, and they're going to try and get proof to accuse them of it. Now, I just don't want them to make it look like Sam and Bucky are criminals again and have them be like viewed as criminals or what. I just, no. We've had enough of that. I need them to, even if, you know, they get like a rap on the knuckles for like, don't go and do stuff without authorization, I don't know. But I don't want it to become like a whole like Civil War-esque kind of people are criminals now on the run type scenario for those characters. I don't necessarily think it will, but there are only 3 episodes left. What's gonna happen? Are they hoping to do another season of this show? Because here for it. Are they gonna, I don't know what movies are coming up that they would feature in necessarily. It's not like we knew Wanda was going to be in Doctor Strange, so you kind of knew WandaVision couldn't run on and on, whereas this show maybe could have another season in the future. Maybe we still have to solve, obviously, the flag smashers, the power broker, the super serum and everything, but the concept of John Walker and who is going to be Captain America, that is something that still needs to be solved. So I'm stressed that maybe we're going to get a scenario where they're viewed as criminals again. And to be honest, if you looked at the facts, they did break that guy out, but then if you looked at the facts, they broke him out, but they're people that were directly affected by his crimes. They're not going to be doing it just to let him run free. Seeing them have to kind of pretend to be the criminals and Sam having to drink that disgusting thing and try and fit in was sort of fun, but also very stressful. And for Bucky to have to slip back into the Winter Soldier mindset in the sense of the ruthlessly attacking, and to an extent it was defending. Once they all started attacking him, he was just defending himself, but doing it in that brutal, cold kind of Winter Soldier-esque way, doing it while pretending to be himself as a Winter Soldier. I just want him to be able to keep healing. Like in the first episode, yeah, he was struggling and suffering and having nightmares, and he was working on his therapy and following his list, but he was at least in the process of healing, whereas I feel like for both Sam and Bucky, this season is ripping open the wounds. Because in the first episode as well with Sam, he was trying to say to his sister, no, I can be a big part of this business, I'm going to be here. And then literally right when she needs him to be there to do it, he's had to go off on this world-saving mission. Now, yes, what he's doing is important, yes, what he's doing makes sense, but her point about the business being left to just her, I just feel like both of them were sort of trying to get their lives back on track, and now they've been derailed by hero stuff, which is what's always going to happen. Zemo, I mean, he was a really good villain. I really did enjoy it. I did enjoy Civil War. It's not one of my favourite Marvel movies in the sense that I don't like it when main characters clash and hate each other, so like that part of it, I mean, not that they ever hated each other, but I didn't like the whole concept of them fighting against each other. But I loved it for introducing Black Panther and Wakanda. I loved it for introducing Spider-Man. There were so many great moments. Any part of the Steve and Bucky plotline is one of my favourite parts. So like there are bits of Civil War that are like some I absolutely love, and then there are bits of Civil War that I don't. Zemo was a fantastic villain in that he was not an alien, he wasn't anything that special. He was just, as we see now, a very wealthy murdering man. So he just, and the way he just gets under your skin, and just like taking that book from Bucky and then being like, reading it out to him and kind of getting under his skin when he knows what he did. He knows that, I hate him. But Sam kind of is aware of the book, he's aware of Bucky's healing and what his sort of reparations on what he's trying to do to make a difference. So Madripoor is a very cool place. You can see why if you were going on the run that would be a good place to end up, because you can sort of hide among the criminal element and there's no extradition. Now Sharon, that is the big thing this episode really, other than the very, very end, is Sharon. I'm really sad. I will confess, I had not given her very much thought beyond like, oh, poor woman, like she kisses Steve a couple times, and then he goes and then she finds out, oh wait, you mean he's my Uncle Steve? Because like, I mean, did Steve go to an alternate universe? Like it's all very awkward for her in that sense, but kind of, I think I just assumed she would be pardoned in some way. I mean, they all were pardoned. The fact that if you're going to pardon Bucky, or if you're going to pardon the people that went on Cap's side in Civil War, they didn't pardon them just because of the endgame stuff. You can kind of, anyone that was on your side we will forgive. And when you look into the details of it, if you can pardon Captain America and Sam, or not be putting them on the run for having the shield and the wings and doing what they were doing, then surely the person that did it, but she was just overlooked by both them and by the government and people, kind of. I don't know that she would have been a priority, like they were tracking her down as a priority, but kind of she was a side character. And in a way that's so funny, in that it's true that she was very much a side character in the movies. Because of the nature of movies, they never really had time to develop her character, and everyone was always a little bit iffy because she was Peggy's niece, and it was always a bit weird. But just for her character, I feel so bad for her that she's had to go on the run, and kind of definitely get the impression she was not blipped. At least if she'd been blipped, that would have been 5 years she wasn't on the run. But she's been away from her family for all of this time. She's been forced to learn, she knew how to survive. She was an amazing SHIELD agent. She was very well trained. But she's been forced to kind of, she was so good. That was breaking my heart. Like in Winter Soldier, she was one of the people that fought against Hydra instinctively. She didn't even for a moment consider taking the easy way out and like surrendering and kind of just going along with it to save her own life. She was willing to fight and defend SHIELD and the good people and follow Cap, and she did that to the very end in Civil War, and then no one ever came back for her. Now Steve really should have put in a word for her with the people, because there was time in between everyone Endgame them winning and him going to the past. There was time for him to do something to be like, can you get her back, please, get her back to her family, get her pardoned. And he clearly didn't. I mean, maybe if they looked into it and then found she was a criminal, they wouldn't have been as open to it, I don't know. But I really feel like that scene we had with her where she got into the car and said, we have problems, I really feel like she's maybe the power broker. And yeah, I feel like she's connected to the concept of super soldiers through Steve. She's jaded on the concept of heroes and heroism, and the fact that Captain America was ever a noble and good cause. She kind of views as though it was all sort of for nothing. I could see her with her skill set becoming the power broker, and that scares me because I really like her, and I was really hoping that maybe she would get to go home to her family. But if she's become a mass, I can say mass murdering, we don't know whether or not she's mass murdering, but if she's become a all-powerful villain, then I don't view that as being in her future, and that is sad for me. I mean, good people, when pushed to the extreme, can do bad things, and it's true that I don't think the Flag Smashers are bad people. I think they are people that have been pushed to the edge, but they have become bad people, especially her name, main girl, because she killed people. So I'm stressed that Sharon is the power broker, as in, like, I'm almost certain she is, and hopefully that's a red herring. We've had, like, they love to do red herrings and things, but there are only 3 episodes left, so who knows if there are going to be any red herrings. Stress. And yeah, like, we know that there was a super serum. We know that they got it from Isaiah, who has been wronged by the government, by the people he risked everything for. It does just make your blood boil to think about what happened to him, and the fact that Hydra had access. Now, Hydra had access because they were S.H.I.E.L.D. at the time, but it's just so wrong. And yeah, it makes sense that, you know, someone commenting that they clearly tried to make, while Steve was in the ice and they'd lost Captain America, they tried to make more super soldiers. Now, they managed to make a super soldier without Steve, so that is impressive. I suppose they had Hydra, they had Toby Jones' character, I can't think of his name. They had people that had worked with Red Skull, I suppose. And yeah, they definitely thought a black soldier would be expendable, and then they locked him up on trumped up charges so that they could not have him out there. They didn't want him to become Captain America because of racism. I really hope we see some kind of recognition and justice for Isaiah if he wants it. At this point, he might not want the attention, or will not want kind of to stir everything up. I don't know. People have mentioned, I think, that his grandson is potentially a young Avenger, like one of the next generation, which would be very interesting. I have no problems with that. So, flag smashers. I get why they're doing stuff, especially if there's like people that were just living their lives, making the best of things after 5 years passed, got shoved out of their homes onto the streets, had nothing, had no access to medical care. But that, I mean, that is wrong. The concept that they would have 6 months worth of supplies while people are desperate is so wrong. That you have this council being like, we're all together. Now, the council, I kind of think it's slightly unrealistic that there would be a council that would solely care about making sure the people that were blipped got everything back, because it's just illogical. Because then obviously if you give people everything back, then you are taking from people who then deserve stuff. I feel like it would be a repatriation council, but it would be helping everyone. Now, if there are corrupt figureheads, people at the top who are just making money out of it, I can definitely see it becoming corrupt the way it is here. But I kind of feel like its main purpose would have been to make sure that no one was screwed over. That, like, yes, maybe someone from either side of the blip might have ended up temporarily displaced, or having to find a new home, or sort of living in limited accommodation, surviving on sort of some sort of benefit until they sort out the finances and everything. I feel like it would be for both sides. But then I can see how corrupt it could get, because if you look at the UK in coronavirus, the Tory government handed over billions of pounds worth of contracts to their friends to make PPE and all this sort of stuff, that to their friends' companies, these companies that had never ever made PPE, and then were like, oh, we'll do it now. You know, there was just endless scandals in that regard. So yeah, the people in power would definitely be in it for themselves, making money, not really caring. And as we've seen across the world, there are bad apples in every single police force. I think something I truly believe is, with both the police and like the military and that kind of role, is you get a mixture of people who want to do it. Some of them are people who truly do want to make a difference. That's why they want to protect people and make a difference, and that is their goal, and they are good people. But then you have the people who like the idea of having power over people, who like the idea of having a gun and getting to shoot people and getting to be a big tough guy, and those are the bad apples. But when the good apples don't push out the bad, that's the problem. So this organisation definitely looked corrupt. If they had 6 months of supplies and they weren't giving them, and there were people dying in the camp, you can see why the anger would spark to this. It would be inevitable that it would happen. And you can see why the flag smashers have people's loyalty, because they are the only people looking out for them. But the moment now, I thought maybe they had been killing people before, but from that guy's reaction, it seems like this was the first time they just kill people for no real reason. Now that is big. If people stay with her now, that you're willing to go along with it, you're willing to let her do that again. Those people were tied up, they were stopped, their supplies were gone. Killing them does nothing. All killing them does is allow the media and the people you view as corrupt and awful to paint you as murderous savages who killed innocent people when they didn't need to. Whereas if you just go in, you know, tie everyone up, take the supplies, don't really hurt anyone, then your message that you put out of we are suffering, we are desperate, this is what we've been it has more true to it. Now, I'm not saying, you know, sit meekly and just ask. Obviously, like with protesting and whatnot, there comes a point. But the minute you start murdering, you invalidate your entire point and you just become a villain and a criminal. So if that was her first real just murdery time, it's not good. Now, I hope people take up the cause that the Flag Smashers are going for. I mean, we want one world, all united, but we want the half of the population that weren't here to be. I don't think they've got their message down. Basically, they're just suffering people who are desperate. The power broker is, please don't be Sharon. The power broker, I feel like, might be the real villain of this season. Now, there is no more of it, super serum. I was really convinced that John Walker was going to go and try and get some super serum because then he'd feel more like Captain America. I mean, he's a brilliant soldier. Like they've definitely showed us last episode, like I said, that he is very much skilled. When they initially picked him, I kind of thought that they were just going to pick, you know, a white blonde boy who's in the army who looks good to the people. Now, that is kind of what they did, but at least they picked a qualified one. And it's definitely something that, you know, I've seen discussed in my comments. And I definitely agree that a big part even, of why Sam gave up the shield and didn't want to take on the mantle of Captain America was because he knew the uproar it would cause. He knew that there would be, I mean, the 70 million people that voted for Trump would say it was stupid and wrong and call him, and he would always be known as Black Captain America, like he was called Black Falcon, even though like he's the only Falcon. Now that is sadly very realistic. I do still believe that a part of it was just grieving Steve, having Steve's legacy, not knowing what to do, and also, do you want to represent this country that in so many ways does not represent you? You know, banks that like just all of the racism and corruption that is present in America and in the UK, but it's pretty bad in America. Do you want to stand up and be Captain America? Now, I feel like, to be honest, Steve, if he had grown up now in the generation he was living among, he might have chosen a different moniker. I don't think he would have picked Captain America necessarily. He would have probably picked something that had the values that America professes to have, because those were the sorts of values that he lived by. But I don't think he would have necessarily gone for that name, because if you are left-wing leaning, which Steve definitely was, yeah. So for Sam, I can totally understand why he would struggle with taking up the shield, and why now he sort of thinks we should get rid of it, because, you know, all of this suffering I'm paying for what? And I get that. I definitely think that Isaiah needs justice, even if it's just making sure there are laws in place that kind of thing can never happen again, or just his name being cleared if he's still technically got a criminal record or anything. I don't know the details. I definitely feel like he needs justice. And for Sam to kind of see all this pain that's caused, from Sharon, how she's living, to the fact that they've just given the shield to random soldier man rather than kind of honouring the legacy by putting it in a museum. He wanted the shield in the museum with Steve, being Steve's memory and Steve's legacy, but not being used. He's struggling a lot. Bucky is struggling a lot with his own self-worth, with having lost his best friend and the guy that believed in him. And so every time he has a doubt now, something that soothes him, I believe, is Steve believed in me. Steve did everything he could for me because he believed in me. And so if people start questioning Steve, or if he has to start kind of questioning Steve's logic or his values and his beliefs and whether Steve was right or wrong, then that could invalidate Bucky's self-worth and the whole mess there. So for Sam, he's definitely, I understand why he's struggling to be Captain America, and I still really, really hope that the end result of this is Sam taking up the shield. Whether it's in 6 seasons, 10 movies time, I don't care. Because there is no reason why we cannot have a black Captain America. There is genuinely no reason. And like, I don't believe he should be referred to as a black Captain America. There is no reason why Sam cannot be Captain America. Like, there's no reason why a Hispanic actor or an Asian actor could not take up the mantle of Captain America. Now maybe it would be different if they were trying to play Steve Rogers, just because I don't feel that the military in the 40s would have given the shield to someone of colour. Nowadays, there should be nothing as an issue there. But I mean, if you look at the real world, I feel like, I may be wrong, when Steve gave him the shield, there were people online being like, no, we can't have him be Captain America. And I know when Nick Fury was cast, it was, no, he can't be black. Zendaya can't be MJ. And it's all these characters where, like, it doesn't really matter what they look like. At the end of the day, you know, unless it is a fact that Captain America has to be white because otherwise the shield doesn't work. Which makes no sense. I don't know, like, there are some characters who have an iconic hair colour or eye colour. I don't think there are many characters, white characters, who have an iconic skin colour. There are characters who their heritage being a person of colour is important, but white people don't have characters in that vein because the baseline, the norm in media is for a character to be white. So there aren't characters that are that special and important to us and to kids who are white growing up because most characters are white. Whereas the characters who are, so that's because I know people have been like, oh, why don't we have a white guy playing Black Panther or whatever, and it's like, well, no, but it's different, and everyone, they know it's different. Those people are just ignorant. I'm just getting into a real rambling hole, and I'm not the person that is best placed to articulate it. I would definitely say, if you're interested in any of this kind of debate, look up people of colour who are speaking up about this, because they'll do it much better than me. But we all should stand up for it. So if the show ever ends up with that way, or the movies give Sam the shield, we all have to be part of making sure that if there are any racists out there, we squash them. I've got very off topic, but also on topic, if you know what I mean. I'm not like the best qualified, but I care. So I feel like this episode we've definitely seen Sam continuing down the path of losing kind of some of his ideology. You know, this is a guy who was a soldier, he was a veteran, his best friend died fighting, he gave everything he could to his country and then became an Avenger and gave everything he could to his country, and his sister is having to sell their family business, their family legacy, because they can't afford it, and they're being screwed over. You know, there is a lot wrong that he can see, and I can understand why it makes you lose your ideology, because, yeah, I get that. I utterly despair UK politics right now, because the Tory party is a disgusting, just corrupt, terrible party, worse than they have been in my lifetime. And then Keir Starmer, Labour, is like, oh, why not? It's rubbish. So I can definitely see why someone like Sam would lose his belief, but I hope he's going to kind of get that spark back, because you need people that, while they can acknowledge that things aren't right how they are now, people that have a view that things could be better and to work for it. This has been a really long review. I'm very sorry. It's gone all over the place. I kind of feel like I've lost my track and I'm now just going to potentially talk for 6 hours. But I love this show. I love that it is raising these difficult questions, these difficult topics that the movies can touch on, brush over. But movies are shorter, movies don't have the time, and I'm glad that this show is taking the time, even if I'm stressed. This was a really great episode. There were lots of fun shenanigans between Bucky and Sam. I love the, you're not going to move your seat forward, are you? And just, nope. Like, their relationship is everything. I'm very scared that Sharon is going to be a power broker, and I am excited for the next episodes. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction. If you have watched this review to the end, you get a gold star. Congratulations. And I'm sorry. Thank you for watching.